look at, as I already mentioned, is so the kind of, I suppose, university set up and athletics specifically within Ireland. I suppose the benefits of staying within the Irish system, so what that can offer you in terms of your athletics, but also, your career and networking as well, and maybe staying in touch as well with your current setup that you might have. Choosing the path right for your own development and managing, I suppose, your career development, your academic developments, your athletics, and of course, life as well. So that's a big important part of it as well, developing those social skills. And then we'll look a little bit around scholarships and what supports kind of are on offer currently. So the first thing that I want you guys to think about, and like if you have a pen and paper now, is to be great time to just write down some of your own goals. So if I think back on when I was in like fifth year and sixth year, I was probably more focused around my academics. So I kind of wanted to really focus in on that. I was, I suppose, um very regimented in my final year in school and really wanted to achieve some academic aspirations that I had for myself. I was always running as well, but I suppose that wasn't a key priority for me at the time. I knew that I would be running when I went to college, but I was looking more at the academic side. So that's kind of one thing that like maybe some of you on the call here now tonight are looking at that. Maybe other people are looking at, okay, I really want to focus on my athletics when I go to college. So what is your trajectory? What do you want to achieve? What are you kind of most focused on and you think will bring you, I suppose, the most success long term? So athletics, of course, is really important for us all, but also it's really important to look at what kind of career you want to create for yourself in the future. Because as we all know, athletics isn't, we'll say, bar like some of your professional athletes, it's not really a paid job. So it's something that maybe we could develop down the line if we get to those stages within our athletics careers. But it's really important to look at what kind of career we want to focus on as well. And maybe that's something that can really help our athletics. Like I studied sports science in college and I learned so much that I was able to apply to my own athletics. So again, it can be something that can really benefit you holistically, your career and your athletics as well. We'll look around, I suppose, what kind of facilities are out there. I came from Kerry, so I know when I went to college in UL, it opened up a huge realm of possibilities for me as an athlete because I never really at home. So even that for me going to college was huge because I had access to all of these facilities. I had access to S&C. So again, that really helps my development as an athlete. Then looking at, managing a work-life balance. So when we go to college, that's a big transition. So maybe some of us are moving out of home. And that's a big transition and getting used to that, getting used to cooking, getting used to studying and managing your own workload and your own training. So again, all of these things are really important to think about and think about what would work best for you. And I want to keep coming back to that as well, that it all comes back to what really works for you as an athlete, and not trying to focus too much on what everyone else is doing. Again, it really comes back to trying to figure out what works best for you. And I think that will have best benefit for you in the long run. And I suppose the last point there about our far away feels greener. So I suppose, like say with the US system or even like other colleges within Ireland, sometimes things might look amazing when we're looking at them from the outset. But again, coming back to that point about what works for you, like is your current setup really, really good and it's working really well for you? Well, then maybe change too much from that. Again, maybe having those conversations with parents, having those conversations with coaches, and that'll help you figure out then what might work best. So just this quote, I suppose, again, as a developing athlete, choosing the right path for your future involves lots of different key aspects, but the key really is to choose the right path for you. So again, focusing on your own trajectory, your own progression, and that's going to have the biggest benefit for you as a person and as an athlete as well. So the whole, I suppose, talk tonight around third level, and why is it important for your development? So, a lot of us are have been in within the same club structure and setup our whole lives. You know, you're in secondary school now and you're looking at making that transition to after secondary school. So post-secondary school, what are you going to do? Are you going to university? Are you doing an apprenticeship? Is there going to be maybe a more working life balance involved? So again, it's a real key phase within your life as a person. And it's how we kind of manage and transition through this kind of key phase that will, I suppose, dictate how we develop over time. So again, you can look at this phase as a real development environment for you. So you're developing yourself as a person because you're meeting loads of new people. You're developing your career. You'll be developing your athletics because you might be changing some structures around that. And again, it's just a really nice time to figure all of these things out. And it can be a bit scary as well because there's lots of questions that we probably have that are very much unanswered at the moment. But again, it's not really looking at this time of life as something that should be feared. It's an opportunity. It's something to be excited about. Change can be good. And again, it's a step that we all need to take and a step that will help you to develop into the person that you want to become. So again, you know, looking at what are your academic endeavors. So do you know what you want to do after secondary school? Maybe you're still very much unsure, and that's okay. So again, maybe this talk tonight might help you figure that out. And again, having conversations with others around you might help you to figure that out. Is moving away from home a realistic option? Is it thinking about because you're within Dublin and you might be going to a Dublin college? Maybe that's your hope. Then looking around maybe athletic setups and facilities. I know for myself, when I was trying to choose a college, first of all, I looked at, you know, what colleges offered the courses that I want to target. And then from that, then I outlined, okay, so these three colleges offer my course. And then I looked at the athletic facilities and setups within those colleges. So there's lots of colleges out there. And again, it's maybe filtering it down. Okay, who offers my course that I want to do? And then I'll look at what athletic setups they have and what might suit me best. So again, loads of opportunities to develop yourself within this kind of transitional period. So it's really exciting. And as I kind of mentioned, there's so many different institutes out there, and they all offer very much a wide variety of setups, depending on, you know, some colleges offer really, really good, say, scholarships. Other colleges might be more along, say, the recreational side of athletics, and enjoying it that way, which is really important as well. It doesn't have to be all about high performance. So again, it's great to see that like there are so many different colleges out there. And again, it's looking at, okay, who offers what I want to go after course-wise, and then what can I get out of it athletics-wise. So again, trying to figure out what setup would suit you. What kind of questions might you want to ask yourself? So again, if you want to take a screenshot of this slide and maybe take some time over the next week or so, maybe when you're journaling, to answer some of these questions for yourself. You know, what are your academic interests and which institute offers your course? What's your long-term plans? Maybe you don't know yet. Are you ready to move from home? Or maybe that's something that you don't want to do. So again, that could dictate where you kind of go to college or where you're targeting. What's your current training setup like? So some of us have amazing training setups at the moment. Maybe we don't want to change that. And that's amazing if we do, because I know when I was younger growing up, I go to college to look at different training setups. And that was something that I found really helped my development as an athlete. So again, you know, all of these questions can be really useful to help you figure out what might suit you best. So again, you know, what facilities, what coaching, what packages are on offer? Would you be eligible for maybe an academic or a sports scholarship? And have you reached out to colleges? So I'm going to have some contacts and stuff at the end. And that's something I think is really important to do as well, is like sometimes we kind of maybe wait for colleges to reach out to us, but maybe we should reach out and just say, I'm thinking of coming to your college. This is who I am. And can you give me a bit more information about what your athletic setup is like? So looking at, I suppose, Ireland and the Irish system and the benefits of that system. So I kind of want to focus in on what we have to offer here. And that is like a really wide range of benefits because you can really look at going to, say, university in two different ways. You could target it as something that you want to use to really develop your athletics, or it could be something that you want to really develop your career, or it could be both, or it could be, a time in your life where you're just looking at lots of different things and developing yourself as a person. So again, having that balance between your academia and your athletics, lots of the Irish systems really support that, which is lovely to see. And they tailor, I suppose the setup of the courses can be tailored sometimes to support student athletes. So again, if that's something that you really want to target, that you want to look at really developing your both sides of the coin, then there are many colleges out there who support that, which is great to see and give you support in that area. There's loads of scholarships and funding opportunities. So again, many of the universities will offer scholarships, and lots of that detail will be available on their website. I'm going to go into that in a few more slides. Career development and networking, so developing your career outside of athletics. I think that's really, really important. Um, sometimes I suppose we kind of get caught up in our athletics and really focusing a lot on that, but it's really important as well to look at your career side of things as well and develop that out. Because again, as I mentioned, when I went down the sports science route, that actually helped my athletics. And it's what I'm working in now. So was really able to gain out of athletics, that I developed a career out of it, and now I'm kind of doing both to a pretty high level, which is great. So there's lots of opportunities in that sense of career development and networking, creating a community within the Irish system, and the Irish athletics clubs. So again, the Irish athletics, I suppose, community is a lovely one to be a part of, and it's really nice to stay part of that as well. I suppose creating those connections with others, creating connections with other clubs, and getting involved in the athletics community, both at home but also in college, is something that can really give you a lot of, I suppose, excitement, adventures, create new environments, and help you to develop as an athlete as well. So that's a lovely aspect of the Irish system. It's also obviously a pathway to developing yourself, maybe representing your club, representing the university club as well at IUA competitions, and maybe eventually it could be, international representation as well. There's things like World University Games. So there's so many opportunities to stay involved, compete, and I suppose look at your own trajectory and developing into a better athlete. And of course, social connections and friendships. That was the biggest thing for me when I came to college. I was, coming from Kerry all the way up to UL, didn't know anybody, didn't know anyone in my course. And the first week I was there, I went straight down to the clubs and societies and joined the athletics club and made basically my best friends that I still have to this day. So it was a great way to incorporate myself into, a new group of people and develop really great friendships throughout college. And it also gave me loads of different opportunities. So again, it's a great way to make friends when you're in college and you're starting out in this new phase of life as well. So then managing, all of those kind of three things. So that can be quite hard to do. We hear a lot, if you're really focused on, we'll say, your athletics, then maybe two other areas. You can have kind of two areas in life. They say there's three areas in life. You have your career, maybe your sporting life, and then your social life. So if you're really, really focused on one, you could probably focus on two really well. But you can't do, I suppose, three to a really, really high level. So how do we manage that? How do we get a really good balance between three? So I suppose this transition period is how you figure that out for yourself. So I know maybe when I went to college, or maybe before college, I was quite focused on my studies because I wanted to get so many points in my leaving cert. And I kept up my running, but I didn't really socialize much. So as you can see, having that kind of period of life where I'm studying really hard, I'm doing my athletics, then the social scene is kind of falling to the wayside. It's okay to have that, I think, from time to time, and there's times in life where we need to prioritize one thing over the other. But again, using this time to figure out how you get that balance right, I think is really important, and it's a skill to have that you can use throughout life. So again, it might be this time that you take to figure that out and figure out what aligns with your goals right now. So is your goal over the next 2 years to study and get the course you want out of college, or is your goal over the next 2 years to develop yourself more athletically and maybe apply for a sports scholarship, or do you want to try and do both? Or is it that you're just really enjoying your athletics right now and you just want to keep enjoying it and join the athletics club when you get to university and have that enjoyment factor as a key priority for you? So again, coming back to those questions that we kind of maybe were asking ourselves at the start and that I kind of want you guys to maybe journal on during the week is, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And what can you maybe see as the long-term goals that you'd like to set for yourself? And that can help you figure out where you're going next. So over, I suppose, the last few months, and since I've kind of started my role as athlete development manager, I've gotten a good few emails and questions from people about sports scholarships and like the university system, and that a lot of people didn't realize that that exists in Ireland. A lot of people think, okay, you either get a scholarship to the US or you don't, and that's it. So I kind of wanted to make people aware that there's some fantastic systems that exist within Ireland at the moment, and that they actually are being continually developed as well. So I suppose a lot of the people on the call here tonight are obviously from Leinster. So taking, for example, UCD and DCU, both have really good sports scholarships systems in place at the moment that they're continually developing over the next couple of months and years that will hopefully grow. And I know I suppose some universities and some systems want to really develop that out, which is really exciting. So these kind of scholarships, I suppose, can help you pursue both your athletic careers, but your academic goals as well. And again, coming back to that point of making sure that we keep an eye on our career as well outside of our athletics is so important. So the types, I suppose, of scholarships that the universities would offer would be university specific. So you have, say, your UCD, your DCU, UL, UCC, and some of the other colleges as well. If you go onto their websites, you'll go onto their sports section, and all of them have within their websites a section on their sports scholarships. So they all have kind of different ways of, I suppose, promoting their systems. So for UL, for example, I know that their sports scholarship system kind of covers all sports, but you have a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So depending on your achievements, you can maybe get those. Then UCD and DCU offer certain different types. So if you know that, okay, that you might be targeting UCD or DCU or UCC or UL, what I'd recommend is going onto their website, going into the sports section, and then going into their scholarships. So then you'll get loads of details on what they offer and also the timeline. So if anyone is in sixth year and they're applying for a CAO in the next couple of months, make sure that you look at the timeline as well on the sports scholarships applications. So I suppose looking at some of those scholarships, so UCD, they have the Ad Astra Elite Sports Scholarship. So that's sports elite athletes across a range of sports. Obviously athletics is one of those. So they offer financial support, amazing training facilities, and access to, I suppose, health and academic services. DCU then offers scholarships for elite athletes and emerging talents. So again, kind of similar with some financial aid, specialized training, and some academic flexibility. So you might have heard of some athletes splitting their year in two. So that allows them to focus on certain modules and get really good grades, but also really focus on their athletics. UL, as I mentioned, has that kind of three-tiered scholarship system there as well. So they have, their high performance center, and and I'm sure there's some financial kind of supplementation there as well. And I just looked at UCC as well. So again, that kind of ties into the Marduk Arena, where they provide kind of facilities for training and recovery to their athletes. So again, if you do have a keen interest in maybe looking at if you could apply for one, if you're eligible for one, just pop onto any of the websites, go to that sports section, and there's a dedicated section in each of the university websites on sports scholarships. So again, as I mentioned, just have a look at when the deadlines are. They usually fall between February and April for the upcoming school year. So we'll say you apply between February and April for the following start in university in September. Just keep an eye on just to make sure that you don't miss any deadlines if you were eligible. So I've talked a lot about the Irish system, and I haven't really touched too much on the US system. So there might be some people on the call here who might be considering the US or might even have gotten some offers, we'll say, if you're in sixth year and going to university next year. So the one thing that I would say about the US is we have a lot of Irish athletes that have experienced the US system and the NCAA system. Some of them have gone through it, some of them are currently in the system, and also some people in recent years have gone out there to do their masters. So they might have done their 4 years of college here in Ireland and then did maybe like a 1 year or 2 year masters in the US and got to experience it that way, which is also a really great option. So there's lots of benefits to that system, lots of really exciting offerings and opportunities. But the one thing I would say again, and coming back to you as an athlete, is you really need to focus on what suits you. So you could have an amazing setup here. You could be a home bird. You might not want to move away from home. And again, it's about what suits you. Some people will go to the US and have an amazing experience. Some people might go and it might not be what they thought it was going to be. So again, just being aware of that. And also what I'd recommend is reach out to some of our Irish athletes who've gone. They're more than happy to chat to you about it, to give you an insight into what it was like. I know a few of my friends who've went and they've all had different experiences and they're so happy to chat to people about it because at the end of the day, like we're a really small community, we all know each other and we all want the best for each other. So again, if you are thinking about it, and if you know of an athlete who is there or who has been there, don't be afraid to reach out. People in the athletics community are great and really willing to help each other out. So that's a great way as well of getting an insight into what is on offer there as well. So I've talked a lot about the different kind of setups, the different programs, what's on offer. Over the last probably 6 or 7 months, I have been in contact with the majority of universities in Ireland, with the aim to basically create a booklet that outlines all of the athletic systems in each of the universities in Ireland. So I decided to, I suppose, set this up because when I was back in 5th year and 6th year and I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go, I was having to go onto each university website and trying to find all the information, and it took me ages. And I was just saying to myself, it'd be really nice to have this all together in a booklet. So after getting kind of like the proof and draft over today, so this booklet should hopefully be ready to go out within the next month or so. And I will send it on to everybody who's on the call here. So again, it's going to outline like who the coaches are, what scholarships they have, if you're not eligible for a scholarship, what facilities are on offer in each of the universities. So again, it would be a really, really great, I suppose, resource for you to have as you make these decisions going forward. So yeah, I suppose I just need to do a few more bits to finish off the finalized version of this and get it to print. But I will send it on to everyone on the call afterwards. And then I just wanted to put this slide up there as well. So again, if you want to take a screenshot of this, so basically this is some of the key contacts within Irish universities. the majority of these are endurance coaches. But what I would say is if you have a vested interest in one of these colleges and you don't know who to reach out to, take the contact detail here, pop them an email, and if you're a sprinter or a jumper, they'll put you in touch then with the jumps coach or the sprints coach or the throws coach, whoever it may be that you're trying to contact. So at least you have a contact there from maybe one of the colleges that you might be interested in that you could reach out to. So again, like be proactive about it. Now is the time I think to do all of this kind of information, bringing all this information together for yourself. Maybe if you could try and get it done even before Christmas or do it over Christmas. And then I suppose it just helps you to figure out, okay, that's definitely a no, or that's a maybe, or this is like one of the ones I'd love to go to. So I think trying to get all that information together for yourself in the next while can just be helpful to, I suppose, set yourself up for the next couple of months. And if you do have exams coming up, that you're not stressed about any of this side of things when your exams are coming up. So again, take a screenshot or I'll send on the slides and stuff afterwards as well. And yeah, I would reach out to people. People are great to give information, help you guys out, because that's what we want. We want you to keep enjoying your athletics, keep developing, and yeah, I suppose make this transition period from secondary school to wherever you're going afterwards as easy as possible and I suppose as positive as possible. And I'm not saying it's all easy, but hopefully we can help. Okay,